Uh, Rod's been in business since 2016. He has his partner, Carissa, and a beautiful boy, Aiden, who's 7, and a lovely girl, Ava, who's 6. And they've got 2 pet cats. His hobbies and interests include history, documentaries, World War II, crimes, and conspiracy theory. He grew up in a farm in Gippsland, and he's been in Melbourne for just under 20 years. He also lived in Ireland for 1 year, and he was a groundskeeper when he was there. His burning desire is to be highly regarded as a mechanic and is customer focused. Something that no one might know about him is that his dream car is a Porsche 911 Turbo. So I guess there's a bit of power behind that. His key to success is staying positive and ignoring self-doubt. Rod is honest, reliable, respectful, and professional, and he knows his work. His clients admire these qualities, and that's why they're loyal to him. He covers all sorts of vehicles, and his favourite are German vehicles, as is mentioned to us numerous times, including Porsches, Audis, VWs, BMWs, and Mercedes are his favourite. So over to you, Rod. I'm looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Helen. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that.
We can. Thank you.
Okay, so my presentation is titled The Benefits and Value of Using an Independent Mechanic Rather than the Dealer. So I'm just going to set my stopwatch going as well. So this is my Volkswagen Beetle, 1962 model. As you can see, it's a bit of a rat rod. I did the whole bodywork on it, the rust repairs, rebuilt the engine, gearbox, drivetrain, lowered it. And I actually did this up for a client back in 2011, and it was the first ever paid job that I did. And then I ended up buying it back off him when he decided to sell it in, I think it was 2017, I think. So now it's sitting in the garage at home waiting for a new engine. So it's not going at the moment, but that's my current pride of joy until I get my Porsche. So the contents I'm going to be talking about, dream to reality, technician versus mechanic, why choose an independent such as myself, and what sets me apart from the rest, conclusion referrals, and closing quote. So this is me and my 2 kids at the day of the Volkswagen show in Yarra Glen, which is a big event when people come from all over the country to go to it. And okay, so this is my first shop back in 2017. So originally it was called A3 Motor Repairs because I was doing like small engines, and I started off doing golf buggies and stuff like that, lawnmowers and stuff. And then I moved into the Volkswagens. You can see there's 3 Volkswagens there. This one's a trike with an engine in the back, Volkswagen engine in the back. And I started in 2016 when I had that nagging feeling that I'm sure most people here know about, and became unbearable, and I just had to do something about it. And I called it A3 because my 2 kids start with A, and also my stepdaughter from a previous marriage, she also starts with A. So that's where the A3 comes from. I kept waiting until I had some money behind me, but I just was never going to happen. So I had $400 in my pocket and borrowed the money for my first month's rent and bond, and just went from there. So unfortunately though, I was doing okay, but personal circumstances came into play, and with the divorce, I had to close the shop at the end of 2017, and I moved to Melbourne for a fresh start. And I worked as a store manager in Kew at the Kmart Tire and Auto there. And then I started my mobile mechanic van. I started building that in 2019 and quit my job in 2020 in April this year to work on my business full time. So that's that slide. Technician versus mechanic. This is something that I'm a bit passionate about. Henry Ford once said that a mechanic should be able to fix anything, not just cars. So that's what I think a mechanic should be. The difference with a technician, which is what a lot of mechanics like to call themselves these days, they're usually trained in a specific brand at the dealer level. So for instance, I'm a gold certified Holden technician. I've completed the gold course. It's also known as master technician course. And from my time in Holden, I completed that course, which is a pretty intense course. Only about 25% of people pass it. And technician has been adopted by a lot of franchise mechanic shops as well to, I guess, to make it sound a bit more fancy. So my belief is that you should avoid tradesmen that are too proud to call themselves a mechanic, because I mean, I'm a mechanic, I can fix anything, and I'm not too proud to say that, because I think a good tradesman, you know, has humility. They're humble enough to not say, "Oh, I'm not a mechanic, I'm a technician." So that to me, and that goes for all tradesmen, I think you need to have humility, because those qualities equal trust and you know, all those sorts of things. So why choose an independent? This is me in my current shop. The biggest myth in the trade is that new and even used cars sold with warranty will be void if they're not serviced by the dealer. So that, of course, is false. The car owner is made to feel like they don't have a choice but to pay the higher and often inflated prices. They're often subject to the upsell technique, which is also used by the big franchises, purely designed to make more profit for the business and not necessarily help the customer. This is not to be confused, of course, with safety work, such as brakes and tyres and you know, logbook service items to keep your warranty. And owner-operators such as myself will always prioritise the safety-related work over the less important stuff. A lot of the stuff that the dealers will try and sell you are gimmicky, such as air conditioning, sanitization services, and carbon cleans and stuff where they just squirt a can of stuff through your engine and does nothing but make them more money, basically. So big complaint that I find with people going to the dealers is they go to there with a problem. They're due for a service as well, so they're hoping to get the problem fixed as well as they get their service done. They end up with a whopping bill and heaps of stuff upsold to them, and they drive away and they still have the same problem. Yes, their car's clean and yes, it's been serviced, but as far as the customer's concerned, the car's still exactly the same as when they brought it in. So they'll often make the customers feel embarrassed not to opt for the additional work as well. So that's another tactic. So this is what I'm hoping not to be, this guy here laughing with a big bill. I think what makes me different is that I understand the stress of not knowing how much your car is going to cost when you take it in for repair or service. I was 19, almost 20 when I started my apprenticeship, so it actually gave me time to experience what it's like to take a car to a mechanic. So I had a little Mini as my first car, was my project. I wasn't a mechanic, so I was taking it to a Mini specialist in Reservoir, I think it was. I took it up there and he looked it up and down and goes, "Oh, why would you bother with that old thing?" And I thought, well, that's strange. You know, you're a specialist, this is what you do. And I ended up with a massive bill, and I had a couple of problems that I wanted fixed and he didn't fix those. And he did all this stuff and it ended up breaking down on me on the halfway to sale when I was going to visit my family for the weekend. So I've had a bad experience with mechanics as well, and that was one of the things I really wanted to do when I became a mechanic, is to be different than all the rest. So I explain what I do. My costing is explained clearly. I explain my work, and small things make the biggest difference, like you know, going the extra mile. Just little things like cleaning the windscreen, you know, cleaning up after yourself, cleaning the old stickers off the windscreen and not just slapping a new sticker on top of the dirty old sticker. Things like that is what the customer really notices, because as far as the customer is concerned, like I said, usually the car's almost the same when they take it away. So this is why I try and explain everything that I do, and you know, be really clear. I'll even give ideas on how to prevent problem from reoccurring if you're faced with a problem, and I'll fix it. So my conclusion and referrals. This is a couple of jobs I've done recently, a couple of mobile jobs. This combi is a job I was subbing for another workshop. I did an engine for this combi. This is Denise's Mercedes in my shop in Surrey Hills. And my cream client is anyone with a car. And my dream client is European cars. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Fantastic. If we can come off mute now and give a
Well
round.
done, Rod.
Well done, Rod. Well done, Rod.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Fantastic.
Good one, mate.
Love that quote.
Nice,
And do you
really
want my
nice
quote now,
quote
or?
to finish. Yes, and we can come back to that. Whilst you're there, Rod, what we're going to do is get you to check in on the prize for the